This episode of the Marketing Podcast is brought to you by Acorn 30.
Wait, that's our company.
Right. Although some people think we're a bit nuts, we work with businesses to help them grow into mighty oaks through creative campaigns, amazing websites, and funky branding. Check us out at acorn30.com. On this episode, Google makes it difficult to rip photos. Is platform publishing the new thing? Bank of Canada gets personality and an app to rip photos.
Creativity sells. Applying the right creative at the right time is the recipe for great marketing. The Marketing Podcast looks at marketing news and finds the secret ingredients that make great marketing.
Hi, welcome to the Marketing Podcast. I'm Heather Watson.
And I'm Brendan Quigley.
How you doing, Brendan?
This is a good day. Every day's a good day. Like, you ask me that almost every time, and I'm just like, it's a good day.
It's a good day. I'm starting to doubt your honesty.
Should I say it's a bad day every now and then? Just to
keep us on our toes?
Terrible. How am I doing? Terrible.
Horrible.
Yeah. Have to record this podcast. No, I love recording the podcast.
I love this. Yeah. Sun shining. Life is great.
Yeah.
I hope it's great in your world, listeners. Google. Let's just jump right in. We got a lot to talk about today.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Google again.
I love this and hate this all at the same time.
Okay.
So we've all had this experience. Likely, all of us have had this experience where we needed a picture of something, and not for like
commercial
publishing
purposes.
Yeah, it's like we needed to. I often do it for placeholders before we get the actual images, or you're like showing something to a friend or whatever. And so what do? You hop onto Google, you type in, I need a cat wearing a tiara.
Is that a recent search? Can I check your history, please?
Cat with tiara, and you get, approximately 5 billion cats wearing tiaras. You click on one, and then you say view image. And up comes just nothing else on the page, just a picture of the cat with tiara. However, this article from The Verge is talking about how Google removes the view image button from search results to make pictures harder to steal, quote unquote.
Okay.
So this means that view image button does not exist. So the article goes on to say that, Google's making this change, small change, but it's going to affect our lives. Like, how do we get our cat pictures now? And it's doing this change, like, the article says it is a great quote this, the change is essentially meant to frustrate users. And that's exactly what it's doing. It's putting a bump in the road between searching and getting the image.
I've stopped listening because I Googled cats wearing hats.
And can you find the view image button?
That's why I went.
There you go.
It's not there.
It's not there.
But the cats are wearing hats. Sorry.
Right. So if you're following along, search cats wearing hats. You can see what Heather's looking at.
Oh my goodness.
Now the visit button's still there. Like, so basically Google's just gotten rid of the button that takes you directly to the image. The visit button is still there. You can still go to the web page that has this picture, and you can still right click on the picture and copy the link or view the link in a new tab. Like, it's not like they've somehow totally disabled this function. They've just removed the button that made it really handy. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So this is in response to photographers and publishers who felt like Getty Photos is highlighted in the article, who felt that images, like the image search, allowed people to steal their pictures. And I would argue that people are stealing people's pictures regardless of the view image button on Google. And as a result, there's all these like Chrome extensions you can get that'll just stick the view button right back where it was.
Right. And I think I use this particular feature specifically when I'm looking to rip logos for clients.
Like our own clients.
Like, yeah.
Yes.
Like, so it's like I need a copy of their logo to throw on their website or to throw on a promotional piece, and they don't even have their own logos, it seems.
Which unfortunately happens far too often.
Yeah. Or we're doing a piece that it does like a logo roundup for partner accounts or like that kind of thing. And I have rights to use it. It just makes it quick and easy. In the view image, you try and find one that's got the background out of it and that's current, and you can grab that kind of stuff. So it's a bit of a pain that it's not there anymore.
I feel for the public, like I feel for Getty and for the other places where you can buy
Getty
images online.
watermarks. All those companies watermark those photos that are for sale, and they're all tracked. I had a client who actually ripped a photo from Getty, and they got like the legal cease and desist letters.
Yeah.
Getty is already really, really good at tracking their stuff, whether or not there's a view image button on Google.
I think it's hard when someone legitimately buys a Getty image and puts it on their site, and then it gets ripped. I think that gets harder. Now, they probably have some algorithm that like just searches the internet for these images, and you've heard those stories of photographers whose images are in Getty getting cease and desist letters on their photography page because they didn't buy the image. And it's just like, wait a second. But I don't know. Like, I think this is unnecessarily frustrating, and I think it's not actually going to do the job that the publishers and the photographers want. If anything, it's going to make it harder for people to see their stuff. Because if you know out of the get-go that that button's not there and you don't know how to right-click and whatever, you're going to go somewhere else to do these things.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's an attempt. It's feeble, but people who are going to find a workaround are going to find a workaround. Yeah. And please, friends, Google cats with hats. They're so adorable. What's next on our list? Platform publishing.
Platform publishing, yeah.
Yeah, so this is really cool. This came out of the Wall Street Journal back in February. And it's really kind of making the case for, even as recently as 5 years ago, we were trying to build websites for businesses that had everything, like your website was your home on the internet. And you need to put your blog there. You need to host your videos there. You need to put everything related to your business there. And we always say that, like, at the end of the day, you want to make sure your marketing is pushing people back to your website, not within Facebook's platform, because you want to own your customers and have access to the data that you're collecting there as opposed to through somebody else's third-party platform. However, the Wall Street Journal is reporting that there's now a shift where people are using these third-party platforms like YouTube and Medium to put their blog or to put their video blog, their vlog up instead of on their own website. And it's a different approach. Some people are looking at it thinking, well, it's going to widen my reach because that's what we can do. Other people are saying, well, for video particularly, it's easier to put the whatchamacallit, the widget thing on your website, to embed that there as opposed to trying to have the bandwidth on your website to accommodate uploading video and audio and all that kind of stuff. What are your thoughts, Brendan?
I would agree with the video thing. I often recommend that for clients, usually because clients are operating from like a shared hosting environment where they may not have the bandwidth to host their own video. Also, there's a, if it's not official, an unofficial SEO boost from having Google videos embedded on your site for Google trolling your site. So when it comes to video, I often recommend YouTube as the place to put it. And I would agree with the blogging as well. Like, your web presence is exactly that, a presence, and it's where are you? It doesn't necessarily mean that you're only on your website. And I think there's a lot of strength to putting your content out onto something like Medium and then maybe having it embed back onto your site.
Right. And I think that's important, right? That's like...
or link
back somehow so that people who are coming to your website can find you in those other platforms, wherever you are, but also from a search engine optimization perspective. Because one of the reasons why we're blogging, we're putting text blogs on a website, is to help with that kind of on-site SEO, so that when people are searching you, they're finding those related terms.
And it does come back to your customer, finding where your customers are, and then putting your content out to where they are. And we're doing this already with blogs. Like, there's blog sites that people go to check their news, but personal blogs often get shared on social media after they're posted anyways. And so you will write a blog and you'll put it on maybe your
LinkedIn
site.
or your you started on your site.
But then you're going to share the link out, and that's how you're going to get out there. So using a platform, and we keep bringing up Medium because it's one of the popular ones right now, that already has that embedded audience, kind of like Facebook has an embedded audience in LinkedIn. It could be a very good idea if that's where your
audience
customers
is.
are.
Yeah. And that's the thing. How wide is your customer base? I mean, if you are a small retail shop in your community, chances are you probably don't need to be on Medium.
Yeah.
Because you've got that ginormous audience available to you. It doesn't make sense, but you maybe need to be on LinkedIn because that's where a lot of your connections are.
And the other place I look into is your local newspapers and media outlets.
Yeah.
What kind of content can you create for them?
Yeah.
And you might not be allowed to like create a news article, obviously.
Well, in some cases you can though, Brendan. I mean, like some of the smaller newspapers allow you to submit your own piece.
Like editorial style?
Well, no. I mean, they have like this kind of back end, community blog section.
Right.
Where you can put like your own community news, because we've talked about this before. Traditional newsrooms are cut back in terms of their resources. So if you are a small business and you've, launched a new product within your store, they can't send a reporter out to cover that the way that they used to maybe in the community pages, but they encourage you to set up your own account within that newspaper and post that news there. It will get vetted by their editorial people because they don't want any liability and all that kind of stuff. Assuming that what you're doing is honest and true and transparent and relevant to the community, they'll publish it. And now you're on their website kind of as a secondary community news piece.
Yeah, and it makes me think of, and I forget which episode it was, but the hyper local Google News that we talked about.
Right.
Where it's another opportunity. And again, it's got to be relevant. You can't just say we're having a sale. That's not a news article. That's not a news piece. But I mean, like, there's lots of opportunities for small businesses to participate, sponsor, or organize events locally that benefit the community.
Right. It could be a check presentation to a charity group or something like that, or a staff cleanup of the shoreline restoration projects and that kind of stuff, where you're doing stuff in the community, giving back to the community. That's always good community pages stuff.
And that works. Like just when it comes to marketing, finding something you're interested in, that you're passionate about in your local community and giving back to your local community works. Those are the people who are going to buy from you. Like, those are the people who are going to come to your business or use your service, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. So, and it's not Medium that's going to do that, because somebody who's, if you've got a retail shop in rural Ontario, and somebody's reading your Medium blog in rural US, chances are they're not going to be able to walk into your store and buy whatever it is you're blogging about anyways. So keep your audience where you are. The next piece.
I love this.
You love this. I have mixed feelings about this. You share it, Mr.
This is
Excitement.
fantastic. So anybody who follows Canadian news, Canadians, will know that we recently launched a new $10 bill featuring, I'm going to say it wrong, it's Viola Desmond on the bill. And it's vertical, so it's not horizontal, which I think is really cool.
It is cool.
Because when you hand money to someone, you hand it to them vertically. It's not like you two hands hand it to them horizontally. So I think that's cool. So
okay, wait, but we need to back up, because first of all, a lot of people think Canadian money is like Monopoly money, because ours is like brilliant and colorful. Ours is now plastic too for security purposes. Like, you pretty much can't destroy it. It's not paper. You can't set fire. Yeah, it's very slippery. So now we have a vertical bill instead of a horizontal bill, which is just, I think they're all going to
go vertical.
I think so too.
Because they're changing the faces on all of them, right?
So we've always had a $10 bill in Canada, but this particular redesign was to, I think it was to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Canada, which was celebrated last year. And then they wanted to specifically put a woman on the bill. Yeah. Because, of course, we why not? It's time.
Well, I think there was men on all of the other bills except the $20 bill.
Right.
Which was the Queen.
The Queen.
Which is also still kind of like old. In the way it's thinking, and I think they're
not the Queen, just the theories. Yeah. I mean, the Queen's old too.
Yeah, but
one of her people are going to come and
someone's offended. We're sorry, but basically,
no disrespect to the monarchy.
I think they have like a diversity panel to try to make sure that the next choices aren't as white male,
waspy.
Waspy.
Yeah. And so we have a woman on our bill, and we're really proud of it, and it's a unique bill, and she's there. But there's a fun little piece to this.
Yeah, so on the Bank of Canada's website where they were displaying this bill, they had like a rotate button so you could like see the bill on both sides. And the rotate was kind of slow, and it was like the bill kind of waved and moved when it rotated. It was
So
fun.
this is like Flash animation?
Not flat, probably HTML5
Okay.
if we're lucky. But basically somebody in their genius, I'm going to say genius, hid a Space Invaders game on this site. So if you clicked on Google Chrome, if you clicked on the rotate like really, really fast, the screen went black and Space Invaders started. And you could play Space Invaders.
You could totally play like the old school
It looked old-
1982
Yeah.
8-bit version of Space Invaders.
And I love this. I love it.
Why do you love this?
I
This
love it
is the
when-
Bank of Canada. We need to take our currencies and the security in our currency and the people who administer that very seriously, Brendan. We can't have video games on the Bank of Canada website.
It's just the website.
But it's indicative of we don't need pranksters and jokesters running the Bank of Canada. We need dry, waspy people.
I would say that the fact that they were able to do this in the Bank of Canada tells you that they've got their act together, that they're together enough, that they've got the technology there, that they were able to implement this without a security issue.
Next thing you're going to tell me is that the Prime Minister wears Star Wars socks or
He
something.
probably
like
does.
He actually does.
But so
I don't know.
what I think, okay, so I think the takeaway from this is they're not taking themselves too seriously. They're the Bank of Canada.
They have to because
but
it's the
they're
Bank
having-
of Canada.
But they're having a little fun with it. This isn't the system that controls the trades. This is literally their front end website it's like the blog for their new bill.
Right.
You're right. Like this isn't a mission critical system, and they said, you know what, we can have a little bit of fun. And from a PR point of view, we're talking about it.
Yeah.
And it's not a negative talk, although you're like, what are they doing?
I just feel that there are certain institutions that shouldn't be fun, shouldn't be pranksters. I mean, they can be fun, don't get me wrong, but they shouldn't be pranksters. And our
This is an Easter egg. This isn't a prank.
No, but they're just
Yummy Easter eggs.
yummy Easter eggs. How was your Easter, by the way? We're like just on the heels of that chocolate fiesta.
There you go.
No, I don't know. I like the idea. Don't get me wrong. The concept of having an Easter egg in anything and being able to poke fun at yourself is a really good thing for any business to do, period. However, this isn't a business. This is the Bank of Canada. And that's where I draw the line. I just expect a certain level of decorum and security and trust. And I need to feel like there's not jokesters at the helm of our government.
I'm reading here too that you can also access the Easter egg through the up, down, down, left, right, BA, which is like a legendary
game control.
Yeah, that's like the legendary Easter egg code. And the bank says that the website had about 1.5 million views and estimates that hundreds of thousands of those visits came from people interested in finding the Easter egg. So another argument I would make is it does make younger generations interested in checking out this new thing.
Sure. So you're calling me old. I hear this.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. No, I mean, I think it's creative. I think it's creative. I think that it just doesn't belong on the Bank of Canada website. Any other business do this because it's fun and it gives your brand personality. I just don't think the government should have a personality. I don't think they have a brand. I think their brand is to be informative and PSA. You've got something.
Well, I'm just the comments on this article are amazing.
Right.
Like,
and where did this article come from again? CBC?
Yeah.
We'll share this online so you can take
so
a
it's
look.
just like
and you can through the CBC. Can you play the game, or you actually have to go to the link?
You have to go to the
game?
website. Yeah, you have to go to the website. But it's like people are like lack of class by the B of C, Bank of Canada, but not totally unexpected. People are talking about the tax dollars. This is like.
But this is government. It should be serious. Again, let's take away from that. I mean, yes, people are talking about it. Yes, it's fun. Yes, it's creative. And I think we as business owners, as private business owners, not government tax dollar funded organizations, we as business owners can take something away from that and turn look for those opportunities
Yeah.
to make your brand fun and to show the ingenuity and the creativity and the character of the people within your organization. Obviously, somebody who's responsible for making sure this website worked, knows the, up, down, left, right, the legendary thing to be able to put that in, and they're having fun with it, and that's cool. And if that's on brand with you, then great. Anybody can put an Easter egg in a website. It's relatively simple to do. So do something that's fun and on brand and show people what you can do.
I've just searched a WordPress plugin that lets you put the same Easter egg in on your WordPress
The Space
website.
Invaders?
Well, it lets you put that code.
That
I never say it right. The Conium. I have no idea what the code name is. It's from like Street Fighters or something.
I was going to say, I think it's like I remember it from like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Mortal Kombat.
Was it Konami?
Konami, probably.
Yeah. That's.
And so,
I'm not against the game. I'm not. I'm just against the government doing the game.
But we need our governments to be a little more with
official.
The people. With the people.
This is the same government, if you recall, that spent $100,000 to drop 50 tweets.
This is it, but they shouldn't be doing that.
I wonder how much this little game cost them.
Well, it would cost us nothing.
Because apparently it's a plugin we can drop in.
Yeah.
How fun is that? Where are we at now?
We are at our favorite things.
Favorite things?
I've got a really bad jingle stuck in my head. I got to figure something out for this.
Favorite things? So I'm going to take the lead on favorite things this time because this is a fun little tool. And this is like my counter story to the Google removing the thing. So when we load up our show notes, Brendan and I kind of take turns on the articles, and the Google piece was basically, Google's making it hard to rip photos. So my favorite thing basically says, here's an easy way to rip photos, just for fun. So this is called Pablo, and we'll link to it in the show notes at themarketingpodcast.ca. Pablo is a web app that was built by Buffer, and Buffer is a social media tool as well. We'll talk about it another day, I'm sure. Basically, it's a widget that you can install in Google Chrome, and any image that you find online, like whether you're surfing your own website or somebody else's website or even in Google Images, and as you scroll over images on websites, a little blue icon shows up in the lower right-hand corner of every image that says Pablo. When you click on that, it basically copies that image into Pablo itself, into the web app in your free account, and you can click on it and turn it into a meme. You can add text to it. You can put your logo on it. You can change the size in terms of what you want that particular photo for, whether it's a header image or...
They've got also like social sizes, Pinterest, Instagram,
exactly.
Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah, so you can resize those photos to fit your needs. And it's just a quick, easy way to grab something for repurposing. Again, I'm not an advocate for ripping photos and copyright and all that kind of stuff. But when we're working with some of our clients that have rights to photos, but they don't necessarily have those photos readily available, and we're looking to grab some, like put together some social media images pretty quickly, or if we have like a bank of stock photos and artwork that we can use, you can pull it into this really simply and then add some, filters and text, and next thing you know, you've got social media posts that are on brand that are using that image bank that you already have.
And so here's a good use case. Websites like Unsplash that give you attribution-free images, where you're free to use them without attribution. Something like Pablo, like you could have 30 social images made in no time.
Yeah, it's super fast to pull things together. And they even have, and I'm not sure where it's curated from, but within the Pablo app, they have an image bank of 600,000 images. So you can just search, rain, and you'll get heaven knows how many photos that have rain, and their rights. They're what's the term again? Not rights managed. They're the opposite of rights managed. They're open. To be able to use. So even if you're not trying to steal images from the internet, there's a lot of really great photos that you can access for free to use for your own social media stuff. And again, for banners, all the sizes are pretty much pre-loaded into it, so you don't have to mess around with, the right the right sizes for the photos, and it's just a really simple way to put stuff together pretty quickly. So we'll share the link in the show notes. Oh my goodness, what are you doing? I see a cat with a hat, Brendan.
Yep.
Yay!
I found a cat with a hat on Pablo.
There we go. So yeah, that's my favorite thing to talk about this week. It's a handy little tool. I think Brendan's going to export this photo, and we'll also share it in Instagram or social media or do something. So keep an eye out for that. Are we done? I feel like I've lost you now. You're playing with cats and hats.
I've got the Twitter and the Facebook exported. Now I got to hit the Instagram.
Oh, look at the kitty.
There we go. And it's good to know too that you could just send it straight to the. If you had it connected with Buffer, you could just post straight.
Yeah, it does work. It does work with Buffer. It's a complementary tool to Buffer, and Buffer is basically a social media scheduling tool. I've used it in the past. It's not one that it's not one of my favorite things, but it's a handy tool to kind of trickle social media content out slowly. And there's free and paid versions of that. So Pablo is just a tool, another web app that Buffer owns. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's it.
That's us.
Done?
We're done.
So thank you so much for listening. You can connect with us on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. We're still working on Vero. Are we still working on Vero?
I don't know.
Yeah, you may even
It's been
find
a
us on
while.
Medium with a little bit of blogging, and certainly online at themarketingpodcast.ca. If you haven't subscribed to us, please do. So for the Marketing Podcast, I'm Heather Watson.
And I'm Brendan Quigley.
Thanks for listening.